Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not. And yeah, you hear the sound of my voice. I got a cold, so I'm doing my best here. So Speed is one of my favorite action films. Uh, look, I got the 4K in there. I got Blu-ray. I love this movie. I got VHS somewhere. But I love this movie. And I always heard there was a sequel. I always heard it sucked, so I never even tried. But for this Sequel-A-Thon, we are going to take a look at Speed 2 Cruise Control. And I gotta say, I'm a bit disappointed. Because, like, I've been watching these movies that people are saying are bad sequels, like Blues Brothers 2000 and this and a couple others, and it's like, I don't mind them. I didn't mind this one. Yes, it's not as good as the first one, and there are some problems with it, but overall, I thought that Sandra Bullock was still good. I thought Jason Patrick was good. May even borderline have been better than Keanu Reeves. I think he's a bit of a better actor. Keanu Reeves kind of has one little mode. Whoa. When he changed in recent years. But, and Willem Dafoe as the villain is fantastic. Also, Tamara Morrison, Jango Fett, or Boba Fett, as well, is in this film playing Juliano, the first officer of this boat. And then we have a cameo from Dorothy himself, Tim Conway. Don't you know? And, yeah. And also Glenn Plummer. You don't know who that is. He was the guy whose car Jack took in the first film. And in this film, Jason Patrick takes his boat. So it's the same thing. Yes, the story is that Annie has moved on a few years later. When did this come out? I didn't look it up. 97. And this was 94, right? Yeah, 94. 97. 3 years later. So, it's 3 years later, and Annie and Jack have broken up because, as they stated, and they state in here twice, relationships start under blah, 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 never last. They say it twice in here. But she is taking a driver's test, and her driving instructor is Tim Conway. They have 2 appearances at the beginning of this, and at the end, he shows up to do a gag at the end with something else. But so she believes that her boyfriend Michael. No. Boyfriend. Is it boyfriend? But Jason Patrick's character is a beach patrolman because that's how she met him. Turns out he's with the LAPD, working under Mac, played by Joe Morton, who has a cameo at the beginning of this with a bald head. Hey, Mac, G.I. Jane 2, can't wait for the movie. Keep my Joe Morton's name out your fucking mouth. Sorry, had to do it. Oh, yeah, forgot about that. But yeah, he has a cameo. And they decided to go on a cruise. But this cruise is about to be taken over by Geiger, played by Willem Dafoe with the goofiest evil smile you've ever seen. And I guess the story is with him, he used to work, he designed the systems in the boat. But he was fired when they found out he had an infection of copper in his blood. And he's been using leeches to suck it out? What? But he is going to cause the boat to crash into an oil tanker. Now, to his point, he was allowing all the passengers to get out because his revenge is on the people responsible for the ship, the people, the employees. So all the, guests can leave. But, things happen and they get stuck on the boat. There's also a deaf girl, which they kind of sexualize. Like, there's this thing where she takes off her jacket and they're like, oh, that dress is too grown up for you. And she goes, the mom's like, she's fine. Then later she hits on Jason Patrick's character. I'm getting 15 the next month, and I'm like, that still doesn't make it legal. He's like, relationships that start up, blah, 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 blah. You know the word. You know the phrase. She said it earlier to... Annie said it earlier to Tim Conway. There's also, like, I'm going to say a running gag where Jason Patrick keeps pulling out this wedding ring, this engagement ring. He's going to propose to Annie, but he keeps fidgeting with it. Get a drinking game out of that. Every time Willem Dafoe makes a smile, and every time that Alex, that's his name, fidgets with the ring, you take a drink. You'll be dead. But, Geiger kills the captain, and so the first officer, Tamara Morrison, takes over. Now, there's a bunch of kerfuffle that takes place in the middle. I do want to point out that Annie doesn't get much to do in this as she did in the first one. Like, she's there, and then Geiger kidnaps her, and she's just a hostage for the rest of the film. At the last 45 minutes, I believe. She doesn't do anything. I know that she was kidnapped at the end of the last one, but that was like 20 minutes. Maybe. And that was a studio add-on, by the way. So this feels like they added this on, too. But she was, for the whole time, I mean, not, but she's got to get captured again, I guess. Yeah. I will say, though, the boat, not the biggest deal as a bus. One, it doesn't go as fast as a bus, and just doesn't, I don't know. It's not of urgency. Like, towards the end, like, they stopped from going into that oil tanker thing, but it's gonna crash into this little island town thing, and nobody fucking moves. This thing is coming at them at a slow pace, and everyone just says they're fucking run. Just stand there. So if anyone dies, it's their fault for not moving. But yes, Willem Dafoe, Geiger still has Annie. So Alex commandeers the boat, Glenn Plummer, and he takes off and he saves Annie. And then he's like, hey, after trying to figure out a way to post her, he's like, hey, you want to wear this? For how long? 50 years? You know, they say relationships, although they were in a relationship before this, I don't think it counts. But yeah, there's some decent action stuff, but it's not as, there's not enough, what's the word? Suspense. It's not as suspenseful as the first one. It doesn't work as well. You're on a boat. I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. You're on a boat. It's a boat to me isn't scary. I've been on a boat. I know I didn't sing the song because I was in middle school. The song wasn't out yet. But yeah, it's a boat. It's not scary to me. Bus, yeah. But we gotta do one last gag, right? So we cut to the credits. And Annie is getting another driver's test with Tim Conway, of course. And as they go to turn, a bus that looks just like the one from the first one cuts her off. And Tim Conway says, well, that bus is going way too fast. And that's like, ha! Ha! You get it? Because that was the first one. You know, the better one? This movie's fine, but I don't see myself ever watching this again. Unless I want to try to do a double feature of the two. But I would just say that when it comes to Speed 2 Cruise Control, it's not worth your time. So next, we are doing a sequel to a movie I've always wanted a sequel for. This doesn't look like it's that sequel I wanted, but I'm going to give it benefit of the doubt. It's not a very big benefit of the doubt, but yeah. So what are your thoughts on Speed 2? Leave me a comment below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty.